Good morning, class. Today we're going to continue the discussion on identity. Yesterday we talked about how our grandmothers um, somehow resemble us in some way, or rather, we resemble our grandmothers in some way. We share with them certain characteristics, certain traits, certain habits, and we had great fun discussing this topic yesterday. We had fun reading the story. Do you remember? Right, Ladder to the Moon, a great story written by President Obama's sister, um, Maya Soweteo Ing. Well, today we are going to continue the discussion, but we are going to see how we are similar and different to other people. We live in one of the most multicultural places in the world, and we interact with people from different parts of the world, people who speak different languages, who have different habits, different traditions, follow different religions, have a different way of life, and we learned quite a lot from people who are somewhat different than us. But before we begin to discuss how to relate to people from other cultures and other identities and other traditions, we need to understand our own cultural identity, um, because it's very important to understand our cultural identity, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it part of trying to understand others, to understand your own identity? Right, you're right. So let us begin with the short video that you will really enjoy. This is a great video that I will ask you to watch. Okay, all right, here we go.
Good morning, class. In today's lesson, we will be speaking about Plato's allegory of the cave. In Plato's allegory, he talks about human beings living in a cave. All their life, from their childhood, they've been chained up in such a way that they cannot move their bodies, and all they can see in front of them is a dark wall. Because they have never been outside of this cave, all they know about life is this dark wall. However, one day, a slave is released, and he discovers a whole new world outside of the cave. And because he is now the enlightened one, his job is to come and free those that are still trapped in the cave.
Okay, I would like to stop the video at this point.
Look,
And
front row consists of kings, bishops.
okay, stop the video a little bit, and I would like to share with you the objectives, the lesson objectives for today. Okay, so these are the objectives for the day, which is to identify the 5 characteristics, traits of your multicultural self, and to develop effective listening and speaking skills to describe your identity. Now, let's take a poll, and I have developed this poll for you on Nearpod, and this is the question that I would like you to answer. Is our cultural identity influenced by the group you belong? Okay, so now log in to Nearpod. I posted the link and the passcode to Nearpod. All you have to do is just log in, use the passcode, and cast your vote. Okay. Okay, well, here are the results. Let's see where the results are. Well, here you go. Okay, so you see 78% of you said yes, and 22% said no. So 78% of you said yes, identity is influenced by the places where we, or rather the people we associate with, or the places we live in, and 22% said no. Okay. Now, I'd like you to get into groups with your identified partners, and we're going to do think, pair, and share. What I'd like you to do is to show how these characteristics that you chose for yourself are important to you. Okay, and once you have both spoken, please introduce one another to class. Okay. Now, I'd like you to think, in your discussion, I'd like you to think of 5 different characteristics, the 5 different characteristics that identify you. And I just distributed a sheet to each one of you. In the sheet, there are 5 bubbles. And in each one of the bubbles, I want you to put one of the traits. In the middle of the sheet, I'd like you to indicate, or rather state your name. And so in each one of the bubbles, just write down some of the characteristics that you have. Okay, and then discuss some of the similarities and differences with others in the classroom. Okay, and then for the final project, this is what we are going to do for the final project, is that I expect you to develop a PowerPoint presentation, just like a 2-minute PowerPoint presentation on the similarities and differences that you share with others in this class. Thank you.